All right, I think I see something that might be happening here. I've been playing with these lines a little bit. Let's get in here and see what's happening. So if you saw my video yesterday, I said we might be looking for a test of a red or a yellow line, a back test today. And I was trying to play with this red line and see what a good target might be. And this reaction here looks pretty good. And I've been moving this yellow line around because we didn't get a real back test. I was trying to play with the yellow line here, but this isn't really a back test. This thing is really a back test, and I think maybe let's see what kind of a spot makes sense for this. There's a spot that gets a ton of reactions across this whole thing, and that might make sense. And what I was thinking is that we're getting a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we've seen a lot of Elliott 5 kind of motive waves on the upward trend in this cycle. And I think that we might be getting a 5 wave here. Let me just go back out and take a look at some other 5 waves that we've seen, which is here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when we're getting corrections off of these 5 waves, we're getting some interesting correction waves. But the general shape is we're getting A, B, C wave here, and then a bigger A, B, C here. And these 5 waves tend to be the B wave on an ABC. And then the C leg ends up being a weird wave, like a 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of ending diagonal or something. But these 5 waves tend to be the B of an ABC. So I think that's a good spot to drop that yellow line right there with all the reactions. And I think that's interesting to try to place oh yeah, let's see if we run into it here. Real time. See what happens. So yeah, I think this makes sense. I think this makes sense for a spot to toss the red line at the moment because there's not. I tried to put the red line here like 3 days ago, and then I was moving it around. There's not enough reactions here to really place it, but this is a really good reaction here, and this is a really good reaction here, and I think that might be a good spot for that red line. And that red line will come into play like 2 months from now. It doesn't really do a whole lot with the current action, but this yellow line is very important. This is the 2008 financial crisis line. It's a 12-year long bull market line that comes off that crash in 2008. And that's been holding up the whole 10-year or whatever 12-year bull market run that we had. And we're trying to backtest this thing and get into the next phase of the cycle here. And I can go out and look at the cycle for people that are new coming in. This is the everything bubble blow off top here. And then we have our Volmageddon line here that comes off the 2018 bottom. And so we broke that and backtested it multiple times. And then this 2008 financial crisis line here, that's a long-term, excuse me, that's a long-term trend line. And we backtested this thing quite a lot now. This line is getting a ton of action, and it's a super, super important line. And it sets up the next move down if we get this cycle that happened here to repeat, where we get the ABC with the B on the larger scale, the ABC wave with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here across the B, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And then we can even, when we get those 5 waves, that tends to be what we get as we get an A, B, C wave, and thus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the B, even on the tiny scale. And that's what our B waves have been this whole our whole cycle here has been these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 motive waves, in the ABC pattern. And I don't want to sit here and drag this video out for like 20 minutes, like watching it react here, but I'll just put it here. And I think that might be a good spot to get a reaction off of this trend line. And this should terminate this trend line. If this cycle repeats, as we had here, like this backtest of this trend line, it doesn't chop out of there. That 2-year long trend line terminates there. That's the end of it, and we won't ever see it again. That's the end of a wave. That's like a 2-year long wave, and that's end to end tangent line of that whole wave, the central tangent line. And this is the same thing with this one. We're looking for an end point to terminate this tangent line and look for this cycle to repeat down. And that could be very cool if it does actually terminate here. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. Very dramatic stuff here. Very dramatic stuff. All right. So that's the Tuesday to the moon episode. We've had this crazy run overnight and a big reaction, and keep pushing, and we're gonna see if this is a 5-wave, if this is a big backtest reversal on our long-term trend line, and we're gonna see if we get a correction wave down off of this. So that's the look for Tuesday. Expecting a bounce off of this trend line. This is a big backtest, and I'll get back to the top 10 stock list. So happy. This is not investment advice. Please hit the like button. Blah 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 blah. Happy trading.